I've been out of high school for a while now. Needless to say, yes, I'm vintage. But I've never thought about going to my high school reunion. I've never been to one. I don't know, and I guess in this age of social media, what is the point? Because you could say, it's good to catch up with people you haven't seen in forever, and I don't know, I'm not really that interested. And I guess part of it is me being a military brat. Like, we moved all over the world, and I was only someplace a year, 2 years tops, and then I was out, went someplace else. It wasn't until I got to college, and when I started at U of L, that I have pretty much stayed in Louisville, Kentucky for the rest of my life. Got married here, got kids here, and even though I'm at the point where I would love to live someplace else now, Louisville is home and it's where I'm raising my kids. And funny thing about, people ask me all the time, why don't I go to the family reunion? It's more than just about connecting with people that I knew in high school or can barely remember on social media. The thing is, people have a hard time of letting go who you used to be. And if you're healed and you're okay with not being who you used to be or even wanting to be who you used to be, it's a hard place to be because some people are so upset with their life that they can't stop reminding you of who you used to be because it makes them feel better about who they are. Let's talk. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steed, Noop from the Ville, and we're here to talk about Doctor Who Season 8, Episode 1, Deep Breath. That's right, we're back in a new era, the Peter Capaldi era, 12th Doctor. We start this adventure with seeing the Paternoster gang, which is Madame Vastra, Jenny, and Strax. They're on the edge of the Thames and they see a dinosaur, a T-Rex, walking around there. The dinosaur coughs up some phlegm and outshoots the TARDIS. The 12th Doctor and Clara get out of the TARDIS, but the 12th Doctor is tripping. He doesn't really know who he is. He's having some sort of panic attack. And this is all really pretty standard for when a Doctor regenerates. It takes some time for them to reboot, to sync all their memories, but this Doctor is tripping. Clara is having a crisis. She's having a meltdown because her Doctor is Matt Smith. And this version of Clara, that's the only one that she's ever known. So when he regenerates and becomes someone else, but not just someone else, because Matt Smith was young and maybe good looking to her. This Doctor is old, grayed, clearly in his mid-50s, 60s. She doesn't know this man. And I don't know if she understands how the regeneration thing works, that he is the same person underneath. He just has a different shell. The dinosaur spontaneously combusts, catches on fire, and we get a sight of our villain, the half-faced man. He is a robot with human skin, and it's kind of a modern-day Frankenstein tale where he and his other series of robots are repairing themselves with human parts. So they catch people, take the parts from them they need, and then set their bodies on fire so nobody knows that, that they're missing a few things. but it's also a callback to a much earlier episode where we met the girl in the fireplace. And David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, met Madame du Pompadour, and he was ready to run away with her. But it didn't work out. And the first time that we met these self-repairing robots was on a spaceship, where he saw the way into her fireplace. One of the reasons this episode is called Deep Breath is because you had to hold your breath, because they were robots. They mimicked human activities. And the way that they could tell a human from one of them is that they don't breathe. So how long could you hold your breath? Put it in the chat. How long can you hold your breath? Listen, I'm telling you right now, my fluffy ass would have been very dead very soon, because I can't hold my breath that long. I used to be able to hold it decently, like a little bit over a minute. Now we talking about seconds. I can't hold my breath. It would seem like I have all this extra capacity to hold some breath. It just, no. All right, so long story short, of course, the doctor ends up, because there's like one part in the story where he is losing his damn mind. And he accepts the case, and he runs out to go figure out the crime. And he's, again, trying to find himself, which is very important for another reason. And then Madame Vastra and Clara have a verbal fight, and where Madame Vastra puts her veil on and, calls Clara a stranger. And she said, the way you act like a stranger. You act like you don't know me, and you ready to ditch the doctor because he got a different face. It's a really good moment, really well acted. The doctor finds a way to take care of the half-faced man and kills him, or the half-faced man fell to his death. We don't know. And then we meet someone at the end of the episode named Missy. And Missy is talking to the half-faced man, so apparently he's made it or pulled through some kind of way. She is a bit of a mystery. It looks like they're setting her up to be the new villain or a new ally. I'm not really sure yet. At the end of the episode, there is a great moment, and Clara, Jenna Coleman, carries this. And she did a wonderful job this entire episode. But they have a talk where the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, calls her on the phone, and he's still on Gallifrey fighting the war. And when he calls her, he tells her that he knows that he regenerated, and, he's like, are you with the doctor now? And she's like, yeah. And he said, God, he said, tell me he isn't old. He said, oh my God, he's old. He's old. He said, he's going to need you. He's more scared than you think. And for me, I need you to help him find his way. Do what you've done for me. And it's a really great moment and a great passing of the baton, because a lot of people over the years did not like the new choices for Doctor until it kind of settled in. And this is one, because with the reboot, you had Eccleston, David Tennant, who was absolutely beloved, Matt Smith, who became beloved, and now you've gone a completely different direction. Peter Capaldi, who's a senior statesman, an elder statesman, it's a silver fox. And a lot of people did not like it, especially those people who were a little bit younger and were watching this. Like, I don't want to watch some old dude. But he definitely gave off that, wisdom, experience. And it may be for a reason that they went this route. And being the Scot that Peter Capaldi is, he's a fantastic actor. So we'll be in for a treat. You know that I love my quotes. And I will not leave you dry on this one. I do have a couple quotes that I want to share with you. The first quote is, I don't know who the author is, but it goes with the story I told in the beginning about high school reunions. And it's actually become more prevalent to me as I've gotten older. And not that I don't go outside anymore. I absolutely go outside and I still touch grass on occasion, but I'm a lot more solitary, especially being divorced and being single. It's just, I really don't interact with a whole lot of people outside of my kids and the people that are around my kids. I don't. Don't wish it to be that way. It's just kind of the way it is right now. The quote is, someone somewhere is still discussing the old you because they don't have access to the new you. And another quote that, again, I don't know who it comes from is, when people say they don't see anything good in you, hug them and say life is difficult for the blind. I really like both of these quotes. As you grow older and as you evolve, the one thing that is hard for a lot of people to see, especially when they are stuck, is the new you. Now, we all are very familiar with New Year's resolutions, and a lot of people get brand new at New Year's and be like, new year, new me. We all know that that's bullshit. A lot of people say they're going to go to the gym and they're going to do this and do that and do X, Y, Z, and they don't do none of that shit. None of it. And sometimes it's not about having New Year's resolutions. Are you actually setting goals? What do you hope to accomplish this year? And it shouldn't be super lofty goals. It should be things that you can actually attain. They should be challenging. They should be rigorous, something for you to actually stretch, get out of your comfort zone and work for. But it shouldn't be lofty shit. And as soon as you hit that stumbling block, you be like, well, I'm not going to do it this year. I guess next year is going to be better. I'm going to be on it. No, that's not real. It's not realistic. I got a partner of mine who was one of the best barbers that I've ever known. And he used to talk about he wanted his own barbershop. But, to have your own barbershop, okay, well then you need to go to school to become a master barber. No, he didn't do that. Well, then you worked in somebody else's shop. No, he didn't do that. Well, you been buying property and maybe you just buy a barbershop and have other barbers work for you? No, he didn't do that. And we got out of school so long ago. How do you have the exact same goal that you had back then, but you have made zero, and I do mean zero, progress towards it since then? Boy, stop. When I was talking earlier about not going to high school reunions, because that seems like a lose-lose scenario for me. My life is not where I want it to be, but I'm not ashamed of my life. And I usually just stay away from and keep my distance from people who would try to shame me for my life. I'm divorced. I have 4 kids. I'm broke. Happens, when your life falls apart. And I spent a lot of time seriously clinically depressed before the divorce, and then compiled afterwards. It took a while to heal and get to the place where I'm at now, where I'm climbing back up the hill. But in that process, I found therapy, and I found a way to start dealing with issues that I didn't even know that I was carrying with me since I was a child. Dealing with issues with my father, with my mother, with my sibling, with how I carry out life and do things in general. And the saddest thing is, and not that I expect it, is that people who were once close to me, like my ex-wife, they don't see any of that growth. And it's okay. I am 100% okay with that, because in order to see growth in other people, you have to take accountability for your own shit. I've been told at times, even though I've been told I don't take accountability and all I do is lie and all this. However, I have proof where you say I've taken accountability and I said I'm sorry so much that people say I don't want to hear it anymore. And it's not about just saying words. You have to show growth. My pastor always used to say, does your tree bear fruit? Because we all know words are cheap. Anybody can say some shit and, maybe you mean it, maybe you don't. And that's the whole thing about sinning. You have got to be able to not only repent, but grow. God can't keep forgiving you for doing the same shit over and over and over. Didn't I already forgive you once? There is a saying that a lot of people know, and it's a good one. And maybe some people hold to this, but it's real and if you apply it to your life. God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the ones that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And not only that, the wisdom to know it's me. That person that you cannot change, sometimes that's you. And is it that you cannot change or is it that you will not change? The wisdom to know the ones that you can't change, again, that's you. You can, if you want to. And no one's saying it's going to be easy, because it's difficult. It's hard as shit. And sometimes you do need a therapist. You do need prayer. You do need a support group. And maybe it's different than the people that you've been leaning on all this damn time. Your mom may mean well. She may not be what you need to get you over that hump. Your siblings may mean well. Your best friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Those might be the obstacles in your life. Those might be the people holding you back. Because sometimes people's own misery is tied into making other people miserable. They don't want to see you do better. Because if you do better, then how can I justify that I'm not doing better? If you're doing better, then how can I feel good about how I'm doing in life? Sometimes it be that way. Doesn't have to be. I'm going to leave you with this. When people don't like the new you, the key is that you have to remain confident in the changes that you've made to you. Know that you're making strides every day to be a better person. Yeah, you'll probably have setbacks. And there are probably going to be people who catch you at the worst moment on your worst day. And they can't wait to go out and tell people, hey, see, I told you, he ain't shit. He ain't going to be shit. But you got to keep it moving. You can acknowledge other people's discomfort with the new you. Make sure that the new you, whoever this new you is not fugazi. It's got to be real. If it's necessary, set some boundaries. People will be uneasy with your transformation, especially ones that they can't see. Like if you were big and become little, they're okay with that because they can see it. They may not like it, but they can see it. But when it's up here, when it's right here, oh yeah, they have a big problem with that. And they will go out of their way to remind you of who you used to be and take zero effort in seeing who you are now. And it's not your words, it's your actions. And sometimes even your actions aren't good enough because they can't get out of their own way. I have a preconceived notion of who I think you are, who you used to be, and I'm not going to let go of that shit. makes me feel better. I don't know why I can't let go of this anger. Why I can't let go of this resentment. But it makes me feel better knowing that all this time, everything I've said about you, everything I did to you, I was right. Were you though? If other people's negativity impacts your well-being, you have to limit your contact or have an open, honest conversation about your growth. But they may not be open to it because not everyone wants to see you succeed. Everyone doesn't want to see you win, regardless of what they might actually say with their mouth. Reflect on your changes, but don't be obligated to explain yourself. At the end of the day, you're not responsible for anyone else but yourself. And even though not everyone will agree, you need to focus on yourself, focus on the positive aspects, and give the people around you who want to be a part of the new you, give them some time to adjust. This is Rakai Steed, Noob from the Ville. Make sure that you like, share, comment. Leave me some notes in the comment on what you thought about this and how this goes with seeing the new you. Can people see past their preconceived notions of who you are and who you should be? Just see past who they think you should be to who you are now. And if you have not subscribed, I'm really not sure what you're doing. Hit the subscribe button right now and make sure that you always remember that it's always about this. Always. But even more importantly, it's about this right here.